call the CIC to order. So we've got one delegation today, and I understand Rick Faw will be presenting, who is the Vice President of Arosha Canada. So Rick.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, Councillors, City of Surrey staff. Thank you for this opportunity to present this afternoon. My dear friend and colleague David Anderson was scheduled to be here today, and he was keenly anticipating this opportunity. However, on Friday he and his wife were told that despite months of chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant, the leukemia in their 9-year-old daughter, Taya, has returned. And today they are learning more from the doctors, and so David sends his regrets and appreciates your understanding at his absence. So in his stead, my name is Rick Faw, and I am the Vice President of Programming for Arosha Canada. In the next 10 minutes, I'd like to do 3 things. First, introduce you to Brooksdale, a beautiful and unique property in Surrey. Secondly, I'd like to honor the generosity of the Neufeld family, who recently donated Brooksdale as a legacy gift to Arosha Canada. And thirdly, I'd like to introduce you to the people and programs of Arosha, a non-profit charity doing environmental conservation in diverse and engaging ways. Brooksdale today is 38 acres of forest stands, a beautiful section of the Little Campbell River, grazed pasture, cultivated gardens, and a picturesque grounds. However, we'll begin our story with a brief glimpse into the property's history and what makes it special. In the 30s and 40s, Sam Brooks of Vancouver ran the Powell River Pulp and Paper Company, the largest producer of newsprint in Western Canada prior to World War II. Brooksdale was originally developed as a recreational estate that Sam gave to his wife Greta. In 2012, Brooksdale received heritage status with the city, and during the HRA process, we discovered that the intact nature of the buildings, grounds, and barn make it one of the most significant heritage properties in Surrey. We are grateful that Surrey values its cultural heritage, and we appreciate the city's financial support as we steward this architectural inheritance. In 1972, Arnold and Elizabeth Neufeld purchased the property and ran it as a 30-bed care facility for people with mental illness. They used hospitality, community building, vegetable gardening, and animal husbandry to offer their clients belonging and to assist in their healing. As the Neufelds aged, their children moved these operations to purpose-built care facilities on properties to the east. And Arnold and Elizabeth, along with their daughter Brenda, desired to sell or gift this special site to people that shared their vision of building community and caring for nature while extending hospitality. They approached Arosha with this idea in 2008, and 2 years later, Arosha began managing Brooksdale. By late 2015, December 2015, a little over 17 acres of the property was gifted to Arosha, and now it is not only a base of operations locally, but a flagship center for our national programming. We want to publicly acknowledge and appreciate the Neufeld family for this $4.1 million gift, for their vision of and commitment to conservation stewardship, and for their desire to bless Surrey. What is Arosha Canada? We are part of an international environmental conservation organization active in 25 countries with projects thus far in BC, Manitoba, and Ontario. We are a faith-based organization rooted in the Christian tradition with a core value to partner broadly with all who share a desire to enjoy, learn about, and steward this incredible planet. Our vision is for the transformation of people and places by showing God's love for all creation. In pursuing this vision, our staff and volunteers engage in scientific research, community-based conservation projects, sustainable agriculture, and environmental education. The choice to begin Arash's work in Canada in the Little Campbell River watershed was actually quite intentional. The watershed has a marvelously diverse ecology located within an increasingly complex social and political milieu. Since 2002, we have been privileged to join a wide array of partners that share our concern for this ecological jewel, and among them are committed and informed conservation partners such as the Semiahmoo First Nations Band, the Semiahmoo Fish and Game Club, the Little Campbell Watershed Society, Surrey Environmental Partners, the Friends of Semiahmoo Bay, and staff members of the relevant departments in municipal, provincial, and federal governments. In today's world, practicing environmental conservation requires engaging a wide cross-section of society. Therefore, Arash's work is quite varied. For instance, every year we have the privilege of hosting over 5,000 visitors and 1,000 volunteers that come to plant trees, pull invasive species, or plant crops. These folks come to us as members of the general public, as high school or university students, as church or community groups, and as, for instance, bank staff on a service day. We monitor, study, and seek to restore populations of 9 species at risk, ranging from birds and amphibians to snails and fish. Usually we focus on species that otherwise get little attention. The star of our best success story to date is a modest 6-inch long fish called the Salish sucker that only exists in half a dozen watersheds in the world, but all of these are within this local region. In addition to studying species at risk, our conservation efforts involve working with volunteers and private landowners to develop and implement environmental management plans that restore degraded habitat. Another aspect of our programming is education. For each year over 3,000 school kids, representing over 30 schools, join us on field trips and are exposed to the beauty and wonder of nature and our place in it as caretakers. We are into the 3rd year of one aspect of our education curriculum. We partner with Surrey School District to run an anti-bullying program for young women called Girls in Action. 18 times a year, bullies and those at risk of being bullied come together to learn about growing food, stewarding rivers, and caring for the critters around us. One way we engage a slightly older demographic is through a holistic training program for young people looking to learn practical skills in science, education, and agriculture. Moreover, given Arash's international connections and the gift of Brooksdale, we also routinely host staff, board members, and volunteers from Arasha projects around the world, looking to gain skills and ideas to take back to places such as China, New Zealand, Singapore, Germany, and Peru. A popular hands-on dimension of our work is our small co-op farm that connects over 350 people to local sustainable food through 120 weekly shares. School kids through to undergraduate students learn how to grow nutrient-dense food in ways that allow soil biodiversity and surrounding habitat to be enriched rather than degraded. In addition to the activities at Brooksdale, we also take our programming out into Surrey and local communities through our Community Garden Network and our Farm to Families Schoolyard Garden program. Lastly, though environmental issues are often polarized, we strive to bring diverse, respected voices together towards a common end of good stewardship. For example, last year we hosted a discussion on climate change that was attended by 800 people, and the panel included, in the picture here, people such as Peter Robinson, the CEO of David Suzuki Foundation, Preston Manning, former leader of the opposition in Parliament, and Catherine Hayhoe, an IPCC climate scientist from Texas, who's an evangelical Christian and one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. Another example was when we paired our very own Leah Costomo co-founder of Arusha Canada and author of a book called Planted that describes the beginnings of Arusha here, with the esteemed Canadian writer Margaret Atwood for an interview as part of a fundraising gala. Our experience of the past 15 years demonstrates that Arusha is growing quickly. We have over 30 staff locally, and with the security that the Newfeld's gift offers us, we're excited to invest in Brooksdale to better serve our community. To facilitate this growth, we're in the opening months of a capital campaign to raise $3 million over the next 3 years, and the first project is the renovation of our 1930s barn into an education center for kids and families. We've been diligently working with city staff, and we anticipate breaking ground in 2017. We're grateful for the chance to work in Surrey, a municipality that's at the forefront of the challenges facing the Lower Mainland. We have incredible natural spaces that require conservation. We have a growing population. We have a diverse economy. And we have a citizenry that values all these things. And Arusha looks forward to a long future of working with valued partners towards people and places that thrive and flourish. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for that presentation, Rick. I don't see any questions, so I'm just, on behalf of Council, thank you, and please... Oh, sorry, Bruce. Oh, sorry, Madam Mayor. Sorry, I didn't see that.
We're just too slow off the mark. Thank you very much for your presentation. That was really delightful and wonderful information. How does Arusha manage these grounds? Is it by way of a board of directors, or who heads the organization?
There is a board of directors that...
Is it local?
It's national. So Arusha is incorporated nationally as a charitable organization, so the board of directors is national. The local project, Brooksdale, has a staff that is based here and runs this property. So
as you go about your capital fundraising campaign, it will go to the national office and then flow down to Brooksdale project, or it will be only for the Brooksdale project?
The national office, such as it is based at Brooksdale. So while our operations are also in Manitoba and Ontario, this is the headquarters, so to speak. So yes, it's quite synergistic between the national operations and Brooksdale.
Okay, and are your Manitoba and your Ontario properties the same size and doing the same work that's being done here?
Same work, but younger and smaller scale.
Oh, I'm glad we're the largest then.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's true.
Councillor Hain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks. I've had an opportunity to tour Arusha's facilities a couple of times, and it really is a gem and a wonderful facility in the work that you're doing. So I congratulate you on that, and I think I speak for all of Council if you could pass on our best wishes to David, his daughter, and his family at this time.
I will indeed.
It's sad to hear that, but I know he'll be working hard, as she will, to get through this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. So, seeing no other questions, I could
motion to adjourn.
Seconder, call the question. All in favor, against, carried.
Madam Mayor.